Hi there, it's Jen from empathicmastery.com, or if you want to get the book, empathicmasterybook.com, which will take you right over to the Amazon page. So I wanted to just jump on right now because we're like days away from, actually, we're like 1 week away from Christmas and a few days away from the winter solstice. And this is a time that is super stressful for a lot of people, especially when there's hard things going on, especially after there's been loss in our lives. And I know a lot of people who are grieving right now who've lost dear ones, and that really changes the way the holidays feel. And I want to say one thing I've just really been noticing in doing work with a lot of different people over the last couple days and last couple weeks as I've been getting ready for the holiday break. And hey, Lisa, I'm so glad you need this message right now. And the first thing that I want to say is if there's one thing I've been struck by that seems to be fairly consistent, is just how incredibly hard we are on ourselves. And, you know, one thing that I think is so wonderful about working with other people is that it's a lot easier to see what total bullshit self self negation and being mean to being mean is when it's not you. Like, it's so easy when a beautiful, radiant, amazing woman starts saying things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not blah, 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 blah enough. And I'm really struck by how there seems to be these kind of common messages that come up for so many of us about how we should be over whatever it is that's got us upset, that we should relax more, that we should, hey, Victoria, good to see you, and Mary Fran, welcome. You know, there's the thing I keep seeing is how frequently we beat ourselves up, not only for not being good enough, but we beat ourselves up for beating ourselves up, and we beat ourselves up about the fact that we haven't figured it all out. And the other day I was working with somebody, and I was really struck by how, when we're having a hard time, so frequently we've been taught from the time we were really, really young that we should just suck it up and get over it. And for so many people who are, hey there, Leanne, welcome. For so many of us who are highly sensitive and empathic, we've been told since we were really, really tiny that we are being too sensitive, that we are overreacting, that we are taking things too seriously, and that we need to just get over it, stop worrying so much. You know the drill. I'm sure you've heard it. And the thing about that is that if there's one thing I've learned over the years is that there is nothing that is less effective in healing and growing and thriving than trying to bully ourselves into being better. It just doesn't work. It's brutal. And if anything, the exact opposite is the piece that allows us to grow and to heal. It's the really, really loving ourselves into where we're at, accepting where we are at. I saw this meme the other day that I really loved that essentially said, it's like you can't run a marathon when you're nursing a broken foot. And there are times when we need to give ourselves permission to nurse our wounds, to let ourselves heal, to let ourselves recover. And it's important that we recognize where we're at in the season of our life. Are we healing a broken foot? Or are we training for a marathon? Now, I think we're living in a time right now where pretty much everybody is talking about training for a marathon. And there is just so much hype out there about, like, stop watching Netflix and carve out an extra hour of your day to work on your book or to work on your business or to change this or to change that. And what I want to say is that I have found that pushing myself really hard gets me so far. But there's a point where it causes me to spin my wheels, and it causes me to actually get snagged. And when I really relax, when I really slow down, when I really go with the flow of the universe, miraculous things happen. And having compassion for myself and compassion for the world around me so often is the key to the shift. So I decided I wanted to come on just because I'm hearing so many people like giving themselves a hard time. I know so many people who are grieving right now. And I know so many people who are just trying to be the hostess with the mostest to get through the holiday season and just get it all worked out. And what I'm really noticing is that what I believe we really need right now is loving ourselves enough to slow down. Loving ourselves enough to figure out what really matters and cutting out all of the excessive stuff. And honoring the cycle or the season where we're at. So if the holidays are driving you nuts, and if you're feeling like I'm never going to get it all done, I'm not going to get, there's just too many things, too many people, too much. I just really want to give you permission, and ultimately, I want to support you in giving yourself permission to slow down. And to look at the list and figure out what are the most important things, keep those, and toss the rest. That it's really okay to not be Superwoman. It's really okay to not get absolutely everything on the list done. Now, my hair has not been washed in a while. I definitely need to hop into the shower at some point in the not terribly distant future, but didn't happen today. And probably won't happen this evening. And I'm probably going to end up going to bed a little bit early tonight because I've been really tired lately. And part of the reason that I've been really tired lately is because we're going through a lot of changes with my parents. And at this point in time, we're sort of coming to, if not end of life situations, change of life situations. And it's exhausting. And so I've really gotten clear that it's really okay to focus on what really matters and let all the rest fall away. And I don't have to be absolutely everything for everybody. And I don't have to hustle like a mad woman to just like constantly say, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. I mean, it's a great book. I really am proud of it. I hope that you will buy my book. But I've got it right here, as a matter of fact. I'm like, as I drop shit on the floor, here's the book. It's an awesome book. I definitely invite you to buy this book. And you can go and get it at empathicmasterybook.com. And the reason I tell you this is not because I'm like, I want you to buy my book for me. I actually want you to buy this book for yourself because it's got 35 years of experience, of information, of knowledge that I have been distilling, really 37 years. And it really lays out all of the things that I've realized, which ultimately comes back down to it's not my job to fix the world. It's not my job to be Superwoman. It's not my job to figure absolutely everything out. And it's not my job to go in and rush in and rescue absolutely everybody. So I had said that, in my description of this, this video, that really this is about giving ourselves permission to slow down, giving ourselves permission to reevaluate and redefine our priorities and get clear about what's really mattering right now and cut away the rest. Like really drop it. It's like, who cares if you get a frozen pizza or you make it from scratch? Who cares if you make a cake from scratch or if you do a cake out of the box. Who cares if you really, really seriously, is anybody going to remember if you feed Chinese takeout at your dinner, for Christmas dinner, or if you do a 7-course meal? Like, if somebody is that concerned that you making your life easier is something that they're going to pass judgment on, then that's way more about who they are as a person. And really, like, would you do that to them? No. You would understand if they needed some breathing room, if they needed some space. So, what can you cut away? What can you eliminate? What can you give yourself permission to back burner and say, I'm going to put it off for a while? So, in my case, one of the things that I did was that I was planning to run an EFT training earlier in the first week of December. And with the situation that was going on with my family at the time, I knew that the last thing I had the bandwidth for was running a professional training for 3 days. So I decided to postpone it, and I pushed it out to next year. And I also decided to push out the start of Empathic Mastery Academy, because I know that if there is a part of me that is like constantly thinking about anticipating and needing to deal with family emergencies, that I only have so much energy and I only have so much bandwidth. And I think that there's an incredibly fine balance between procrastination and the dance of fear around I'm not ready to do something, and the real honest assessment that it's time to take something off of our plate. And I know for myself that there are times where it really is feel the fear and do it anyway. But then there are other times where it's really, really important to recognize I don't have the spoons, I don't have the energy, I don't have the bandwidth, and it would be irresponsible for me to add anything else to my plate. And so I think that generally when we're talking about I just got a text message from my husband talking about how my father, if he wasn't as completely gone, my father is in advanced stages of dementia. My dad is just as gone now, which is really sad. And that's part of why I am not doing a million different things. But my husband just texted me and said that my father, if he could have perceived what was going on with the impeachment proceedings today, my father would be gleeful right now. And I think there's truth to that he would definitely be enjoying this day. But the point of this is to say that in my experience, that there are times where we are avoiding something, or we're putting things off. And yes, Mary Fran, absolutely, caregivers need care too. In order for us to do the work well, we must put on our oxygen mask first. And to be a responsible caregiver, especially when you're doing work that is really deep and has the capacity to have great impact for somebody. In my personal experience, it's absolutely essential to recognize when you don't have the spoons to do it. And when I used to work as a tattooer for many years, every so often there would be a day where I had to cancel an appointment. I remember one time where I woke up with vertigo, and it was like, that was not something I could just push on through and suck it up. I would not have done a good job. And I would have caused the other person harm. It wouldn't have just been that even maybe that I showed up and did kind of a half-assed or mediocre job. I would have created a permanent thing on somebody's body that would not have been as good as it could be. And so I think it's very important to recognize, when do we have the energy to do something and when don't we? And I would go as far as to say that around the holiday season, 9 times out of 10, resistance is not procrastination. 9 times out of 10, it's because we have way too much on our plate already. So reevaluating, slowing down, reevaluating our priorities. Also, circling the wagons, looking at what really matters and sort of bringing in the troops, asking for support, focusing on what really, really matters. And whenever possible, hitting the pause button and taking a moment to breathe, to relax. So I want to share a word with you guys because it's a word that I'm really bringing with me into to 2020. And as I go into my winter break coming up at the beginning, like basically as of Saturday, I'm sort of like folding in on the year and taking this time to review, to renew, to reconsider, and to just refresh and really evaluate and celebrate what this year and really this decade has been like. And the word that I want to share with you right now, and I'll be talking about it over the course of the next couple of weeks, is a Hebrew word that is Selah, Selah. And Selah is a word that is used to define the pauses between sentences in sacred scripture. It is, and the thing about it is that it is the space where the divine, where spirit seeps in, that it's the stillness and the silence, the moments of pause between our words that allows us to receive, that allows us to hear, that allows us to open to the prosperity, to the blessings, to the goodness of the universe and the flow around us. And so we are living in a society that is in the go, 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 go mentality right now. And yes, and Victoria, you're so right that there are people around us that are stressed. There are so many heavy emotions. It's hard not to pick up on it. And with a nation that is divided basically three ways, we've got the people who are on the liberal side of the fence, who are very psyched right now that the impeachment proceedings have gone through and that we have had a successful impeachment. We have the neutral people who basically don't believe that the government means anything at all and they could really give a shit. And then we have the conservatives and the MAGA hat wearers who are absolutely like bummed, really upset about what's going on. There are so many emotions that are flowing around right now on a political level. There are so many emotions flowing around on an environmental level. And then there's so many people who are going through so many different things. Like I said, I know a lot of people who are grieving right now. I know a lot of people who are going through really hard times. And we're also dealing with the holiday season. Woo-hoo. So it's a lot. So one of the things I wanted to do, aside from just sort of saying, hey there, if you need to buy a Christmas present for one of your highly sensitive people, this is an amazing resource. I put my heart and soul into it, and it lays out how to deal with being highly sensitive and empathic in a way that I am really proud of this. Like, I just really want to say, like, go get this book. It's got the information. It's got so much information in it. It is jam-packed. So that said, empathicmasterybook.com. I also want to offer you another resource, and that is a free resource that I created a while ago called Holiday Help for Empaths. And it is a resource that I created. It's a little booklet where Kathleen, I'm so glad you got it. And I look forward to hearing back from you in the PM that I sent you about the choices of when it comes to decks. Anyway, Holiday Help for Empaths, you can go to holidayhelpforempaths.com and you can go and get immediate access to this resource guide, because what I do is I talk about a couple different things. I talk about how to strategically anticipate and prepare for being around other people, particularly the fact that if you're going to be around family members who don't have the same political leanings, it's going to be an interesting holiday season. We have a rule in our family. We, in general, as you might imagine, most of my family members are pretty liberal and pretty democratic, but we do have I have one Republican brother-in-law, so we made kind of a rule a long time ago that we do not discuss politics at the family dinner table. But there are things where, depending on the kind of group you're at, it may or may not be off limits. And so having strategies in advance, thinking about what is your exit strategy? What are you willing to tolerate? What are you not willing to tolerate? How are you going to take care of yourself? These are all things that are important to consider before you show up at the holidays. So holidayhelpforempaths.com is a resource that I've created that I want for you. Just jump on over to holidayhelpforempaths.com. Actually, let me just put this right into the comments section and you can get it. Not holiday semicolon. You should have seen the way I was writing that. It was kind of very bizarre, but holidayhelpforempaths.com. There ya go. So, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say to you, because really I just wanted to jump on and say it's okay to slow down. It is okay to reprioritize. It is okay to cut things from your list. It is okay to take care of yourself. Things are heated. Things are intense. There's a lot going on in the world around us right now. It's okay if you have a day where you're like, I should have washed my hair, but I didn't. It's okay if you decide that you want to watch Netflix. And I also just really want to say that, in the world of TED Talks and motivational speakers and people who are like, hey, you want to accomplish something? Just get up an hour earlier. That, okay, maybe that works for some people, but as somebody who has dealt with autoimmune diseases and is somebody who's recovering from multiple exposures to multiple tick bites, multiple exposures to tick-borne illnesses, and recovering from chronic, like I'm a Lyme survivor, I want to say that system does not work for me. It is not about pushing harder. It is not about expecting more from myself. It's not about like beating the crap out of myself to be better. It's about loving myself as I am and honoring the choices that I make and recognizing what I can do, what I can't do, and being super, super, super gentle. And it's kind of a fine balance because sometimes it does mean making changes in our life. For example, there was a point in my life where I was eating a lot of sugar and it was not serving me. And in order to take care of myself, I needed to make changes with my diet. I needed to make changes with certain aspects of my lifestyle. I mean, I have gone through a number of ineffective self-soothing techniques. I was a chain smoker when I was a young woman. I was never an alcoholic, but I definitely could, drink with the best of them. And there were just so many different coping mechanisms that I had as a highly sensitive empathic person, trying to distract myself from the anxiousness, from the discomfort. Interestingly, the worst for me was sugar. And that was the one that gave me temporary relief, but long-term anxiety. And when I made the decision that loving myself was not giving myself loving myself was not about giving myself that special sugary treat. Loving myself was about acknowledging that it was no longer serving me and stepping away from it. That is a place where I made a pretty clear boundary about it. But another example is that if I need to watch Netflix for a couple hours because I'm just toast, that's okay. And so I guess my question to all of you right now is, as we go into this new year as we go into this time. Sorry, I'm getting asked by my husband, did we buy peanut butter? I'm just going to let him know what I'm doing. I love the organicness of Facebook Live. I'm like, hey, my husband's texting me. I get to tell him things. Anyway, my question to you is, so what is self-care? What is really loving yourself? What do you have the spoons for right now? What do you have the energy for? How can you support yourself through this time and through the holiday season? And if you need more support, if you want some suggestions, if you want some real strategic approaches to navigating the holidays without going completely nuts, then check out Holiday Help for Empaths, because that's where I've got a whole bunch of really, really useful strategies. So at this point in time, I think I am starting to repeat myself. I just really want to reach out to all of you and give you so much love, and also just to say, if you are like me and the 16 million other women, I don't know how many women there are, but anyway, that was a random number. But if you are like me and so many of the women that I talk to, and the first instinct is to doubt ourselves, to think we need to be improving ourselves, to think that we need to be better, smarter, thinner, faster, all kinds of stuff. And when things are hard, we try to push ourselves just a little bit harder. I just want to say, you are good enough exactly as you are. You matter. You have a gift that is so important, and the world needs you as you are. The world needs your light right now. The world needs your voice right now. You have something, you have wisdom, you have insight, you have experience that nobody else has. And you are important, and we need you here. So please, take gentle care of yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be as nice to you as you would be to your best friend, because you deserve it just as much as she does. So, on that note, I actually think that I am going to go and jump into the shower and just like wash this head of hair. That's the one thing about having super long hair. I don't know if any of you guys have really long hair, but I'll just say that when your hair gets to a certain length, it actually becomes like it's kind of like, I don't know, it's an ordeal to wash it when it gets really, really, really long. So anyway, I'm gonna jump in the shower, I'm gonna wash my hair, I'm gonna tap while I do it. I'm gonna take really good care of myself. I'll probably jump back on in the next couple days. And again, I just really want to support you. I want to offer you my gift of support for the holidays over at holidayhelpforempaths.com. So that's my gift to you, is holidayhelpforempaths.com. It's the empathic survival guide, basically, with a holiday help guide. And then if you are looking for presents for other people, here's the hard copy of this lovely 382 page book, packed with information. Part 1 is all about what it means to be an empath, why we are this way, what makes us tick, how it all works and what it's all about. And then part 2 is the 5-step system for really turning it around and really learning how to achieve empathic mastery. I am so proud of this book. I love this book. I'm proud to say and thrilled to say that a lot of other people love it too. And I hope that you will love it as well. And you can get a copy of it for yourself. You can also get a copy of it for friends and family over at empathicmasterybook.com. And if you are not in the US, go to your Amazon place and just look up Empathic Mastery, Jennifer Moore, and you will find it. Okay, guys. Go over to Holiday Help for Empaths if you need the guide. Go to Empathic Mastery Book to get the book. And please write questions, comments, things below to let me know what it is that you are needing. And I will be back sometime in the not terribly distant future. Hang in there. Give yourself permission to stop. Give yourself permission to slow down. Give yourself permission to cut the things that are extraneous on the list. And if you're and I also just really want to say, you don't have to be like it doesn't all have to be from scratch. If it's the difference between sanity and the difference between sanity and like a 7-course meal from scratch, choose sanity. Choose store-bought. Choose takeout. Choose things that are going to make life easier for you. So much love to you. Victoria. Oh, Kathy. Hi there. Welcome. Lisa. Mary Fran. All of you guys. I'm so glad you are here. I am wishing you a lovely, lovely evening, and I will catch up with you, I'm sure, sometime later. Okay. Bye-bye.